Let's talk about interval notation. Interval notation is a way to write inequalities, to show the solution set for inequalities. The big thing you have to remember, are we talking about something that's included or excluded? Meaning, is the included means there would be an equal sign with it. So we're talking less than or equal, greater than or equal. If it's excluded, we're just going to have a less than or a greater than. The difference is a bracket versus parentheses. So these are all of the options. If it's a double bracket, that means both sides are included. If it's both sides parentheses, that means either side of it are excluded. No, yeah, that's right. And it could be one or the other. Now, one thing I need to throw out is that if we are going to infinity, whether it's positive infinity or negative infinity, those are always in parentheses. I really should have wrote that the other way. So if we have something that's going from negative infinity to positive infinity, we will have parentheses. So anytime there's an infinity included, parenthesis. Let's do a couple. Write the inequality in interval notation. Sometimes it is also helpful if you are a visual learner to graph this on a number line first. So if we think about a number line, here's 0, and so 1, 2, here's 3. We see the equal sign, which means it's included. So 3 is included, and we want greater than 3, so we're going off to the right. So when you think about writing this in interval notation, we're starting at 3. Do we need a bracket or a parenthesis? That's your next question. With 3, do we need a bracket or a parenthesis? Look at your inequality. We have the equal sign. It's included, so we have a bracket. Bracket shows I'm included in the solution set. Now we need to look at the right side. Where does this stop? It doesn't. So we have a infinity, and we just talked about infinity has a parenthesis. So this interval notation is bracket 3, comma, infinity, parenthesis. Write the inequality in interval notation. -2 is greater than x. Y'all, I'm a huge fan of the variable being first. In my head, it just makes so much more sense. And so I would rewrite this, because this is what I would do, and say, okay, this inequality symbol is pointing at the x, so I'm going to flip it. So -2 is greater than x is the exact same as x is less than -2. So when I graph this, here's 0, -2, it's less than, so it's going to be an open circle pointing to the left. Now I am ready to do my interval notation. So we always start on the left. Where does this start on the left? And well, this thing goes on forever. That means we're going to start at negative infinity. And infinity, positive or negative, doesn't matter, is always going to have the parenthesis. Parenthesis, negative infinity, comma. Where does it end? It ends at -2. And we are not included, right? So we are excluded, and therefore we will also have a parenthesis. You might be thinking now of, well, when would I ever have 2 brackets? This is a great question. So if we have, let's just go by number line for fun. If I have a closed circle as an inequality, we would have negative, oh gosh, let's get rid of this. There we go. -3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 2. This is a compound inequality. And this would be the case. This is what it would look like. So because we have equal signs with both of these inequalities, each one has a solid circle, interval notation, bracket, -3. That's where we start on the left. We go to 2 on the right and we stop, bracket. So that's when you would have 2 brackets is when we stop. That's also, you also could have an excluded with one of these, right? If we would take this parenthesis away, or excuse me, the equal sign away on the right side, then we would take the bracket away and we would make that a parenthesis. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You just have to pay attention, included, excluded, and you're always looking left to right. So inside of the ordered pair, you always start with the leftmost, you go to the rightmost. Pay attention to bracket or parenthesis, and you've got yourself some interval notation.